Hello guys, and welcome to another YouTube video with your host Stevie B, that is me, brought to you by earnped.com. You will notice today I am wearing my patented Optimus Prime helmet. I actually put on some pants for today's video. So guys, the reason I wanted to make this video today is I tend to get some of the same questions over and over again. And specifically, I've been getting a lot of questions about trading lately, especially from new players. They want to know, how can I use trading to make money? People tell me it's one of the best ways, yet I'm very much finding it difficult to do. So I want to take a minute, guys. This is actually going to be a multi-part series on trading, and this is part one. Why trading isn't what you think it is going to be something similar to today's title. So I just want to walk you guys through something really basic with trading today. Let's start off with my storage. We'll get to the auction here in a minute. So guys, as you go through, you're playing in Entropia, you will find that you have the same items everybody else has. Okay, very rarely are you going to have something that they do not. So just looking through my storage here just real quick, you guys are probably seeing a lot of stuff that looks pretty familiar, right? We're seeing some Calypso bone samples. We're seeing some different various types of paint. We're seeing some robot items. We're seeing some different components, some wools. We're seeing some oils, some skins. So the problem is that everybody has what everybody else has. You are very unlikely to have something that I don't, or that my friend Fatty doesn't, or that Michael Stewart doesn't. You're very unlikely. Now, does it happen? Sure, but it's very rare. So the biggest problem with trading is everybody has what everybody else has. This is even more true when you first start and you're hunting nothing but puny creatures or low-level mobs, and you have muscle oil, right? Or you have animal hide, and that's pretty much all you've got. So the biggest problem right off the bat with trading, the reason it doesn't work as most people think, is everybody has what everybody else has. So that being said, I split stuff up into 3 or 4 nice little categories. Number one is absolutely useless stuff with no demand. So let's take an example here. Burklide Claw. I just got this the other day. So Burklide Claw. So you might ask, what is a Burklide Claw used for? Actually, this is one of the things that you would need if you wanted to make a Burklide DNA sample to use on a land area so that a land area owner could spawn their own Burklide, right? This is one of the things you would need. There's several different pieces that you would need to make that sample, but this is one of them. So let's take a look at the chart. So we can see there's been a grand total of no sales today. That's why it says NA. And then that's where we find the markup column, right? Next to that in sales column, it tells us the TT value of this item that has sold on auction. So the markup column tells us the markup that the item fetched today, this week, this month, this year, this decade. And then the sales column, this is where we're seeing demand. Whenever I talk about looking at an item's demand, I'm looking at the sales column. In this case, we're looking at TT value that has sold on the auction. So today there's been no markup because there's been no sales. 0 peck worth sold, right? This week, no markup, no sales this week, 0 peck in that sales column, 0 demand. This month, NA for markup, again, 0 peck in sales. So there's been 0 demand for this item all month, which means there hasn't been any markup all month. You can't have markup unless you have demand, right? So in the past year, the markup is 108.8. That's not a horrible markup. That's okay. It's the lower end of okay, but it's okay. But what's the total demand? 40 PED. Just under 40 and a half PED TT worth in the past year. So there's been 0 demand all month, and in the past year, in the entire Entropia Universe, the entire demand for this product is 40.44 PED worth. So this is not an item that I'm actively going to go farm because there's practically no demand for it. When I don't see demand on a day, week, and monthly basis, it tells me that's going to be a very hard item to make tradable, right? Is there somebody out there who wants to buy it? Maybe. But whenever I'm looking to get stuff that I want to actively trade, I want to see lots of daily and weekly demand. If I see lots of daily and weekly demand in that sales column, then I know that there's going to be lots of monthly and yearly and decade demand, right? So if I'm trading, I want something that has demand. It's also got to have markup, but I want something that has demand. Otherwise, I've got a lot of crap that I can't sell to anybody. So category one for introduction to trading is, does the item have any demand at all? If the answer is practically no, then it doesn't matter what the markup is. That is just the worst possible category. This is the category that I call TT food. People tell you not to use the trade terminal. Don't ever sell to the trade terminal. That is the worst possible advice you could give. I sold 1,100 PED worth of stuff that was sitting in my storage, not doing me any good, to the trade terminal just last week. I took that 1,100 PED. I bought Crystal Palace shares whenever the IPO happened. Very, very happy with the returns I'm already getting. I would not have got those returns if I just let this stuff sit in my storage. And the thing about it is, guys, it's stuff that would never sell. It was literally hundreds of items that had zero demand, not just in day, week, and month, but some of them in the year and decade category. So why let that stuff just sit in your storage, taking up space? Get rid of it. If you got to TT it, it might be the best option, because when there's no demand, that is the worst possible category an item can fall into. Now let's look at the one step up from the worst possible category, and that's stuff with demand but crap markup. Let me find a good example here, and this is one you guys will be familiar with. Animal muscle oil. This is one of the most common oils that you get. Puny creatures drop it in droves. It's the one oil that everybody starts off with. Animal muscle oil. So let's look at the chart for animal muscle oil. You'll see that there is some markup. It's roughly 103, 104% on auction. On auction, not private trade, auction. But let's look at the demand. In that sales category, there's been 16,000 PED TT value sell just today of muscle oil. 97,000 PED this week. 397,000 PED worth of muscle oil TT value has sold on the auction in the past month alone. I would say that's pretty good demand. This is something that there is a lot of demand from animal muscle oil. Now, is the markup good? No, the markup's crap, because everybody has it and they've got big giant stacks of it. If you look at my stack, guys, I've never bought this on the open market. I literally just get it from hunting. I've got 528 PED sitting in my storage. Another oil I want to show you guys, because this will play into something a little bit later in the video. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Animal eye oil. Eye oil has an even worse markup than muscle oil, if you can believe that, because once you here it is. Once you get past the puny creature stage, there's a lot of stuff that drops eye oil, right? I've got 1,248 PED TT value just sitting in my storage. 1,200 PED just in eye oil. So let's look at the markup. Again, absolute crap markup, 102%, 101.95, 102. So on auction, 102% give or take, right? Sales today, 6.2 thousand PED TT value. This week, 73,000 PED. This month, 300,000 PED. So not quite the demand we see for muscle oil, and that's also reflected in the market being a little bit lower, but still good demand, right? Just, again, crap markup. So the problem is, when a lot of people start trading, this is the kind of stuff they try and start with. This is the stuff that they'll try, because this is what they have. This is what they get when they're hunting, right? You're out hunting those puny creatures. You're getting the muscle oil. You see there's a potential 4% markup there. So that's what people try and start with. Guys, it's just not going to happen. These markup numbers, these are auction markup numbers. I would be lucky if I could sell the eye oil for 101.5% in the open market outside of auction. The reason stuff sells for a little bit more in auction is people can grab a low quantity if they need a small quantity, a high quantity if they need a high quantity. Sometimes they're willing to pay a little bit more to just get it and be able to go do what they want to do with it. I've done that myself. I'll need to do a crafting run. I don't want to spend all day buying up little bitty amounts from different people. I'll pay 5-10% more sometimes just to snatch everything I need at one swipe off auction. So the auction numbers are almost always going to be higher than the real trading numbers, right? And if you're trying to buy and sell as a trader, if you're not just hunting to get it, that means you've got to buy even lower. So if you want to sell animal eye oil, you know you're probably only going to get 101 to 101.5% on the open market outside of an auction setting, and you don't want to pay those auction fees. You've got to buy it at 100% to 100.5%. It's going to be almost impossible. Very few people are going to part with it because they want that extra 1%. They're not making crap anyway, right? So the second worst category that you can have is items that are very, very plentiful and in demand, but because they're plentiful, they have zero markup. Plus, guys, if you're trying to work on a 2, 3, 4% markup spread to make real money in Entropia, you're not going to get anywhere. It's going to take millions and millions of PED cycle to see anything resembling real profit. So you're really kind of SOL with those items that are in demand, but everybody's got them in the markup slow, which unfortunately is most stuff in Entropia. You're going to start off as a trader, you're going to last a couple of days, and you're going to get worn out. If that's the kind of stuff that you guys are being forced to trade, figure out another way to make money. Go over to earnped.com, sign up as a member, complete some offers, run some videos, do some surveys, take some quizzes, earn you some real PED that's actually going to give you an ROI, because the return on investment you're going to get from spending all your time doing this is nil. Run a taxi service, do healing for hire, go sweat if you have to. Anything but trading eye oil, muscle oil, and stuff with similar markups, because it's just a nightmare waiting to happen. Now, the third category is the one that you want to be in. And that's stuff that maybe has good demand, maybe has good markup, but it's not necessarily super easy to get. And it does exist. Let me show you guys some examples here. Here is a good one. Quantium ingots. I've only got 97 PED TT value. Quantium ingots. So let's take a look at the markup here and the demand and stuff. So today there's only been 327 PED worth sell. This week only 3,000 PED. This month only 11,000 PED. Now these are very, very small numbers from a demand side. So the question is, why is the demand so small? Well, guys, look at these markups. Pretty regularly 144 to 159% markup. That's a great markup for a mined resource. This is a very, very hard resource to find. You're not going to be able to go get a little mining finder from the trade terminal as a new miner, as a new player, and just walk out there and find this. This is a very, very, very rare mineral that you have to be a higher level miner to find. You have to know where to find it. A lot of times these high markup minerals are in lootable PvP places. I'll show you one here that I know for a fact you mainly find in lootable PvP. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Here we go, pyrite. Pyrite ingot. Notice again, I only have 100 TT worth on me, another 150% markup mineral, and you'll see very, very similar demand patterns, 2,000 TT worth sold today, but look how steady those markup numbers are. So guys, this is something that's great to trade in, especially if you're able to go get it naturally playing with the skills you have as a miner. The problem is very, very few people have these skills, and that's why it's so hard to deal in category 3 that I have. This is the stuff that's got good demand, good markup, you can really make a trading career out of. It's just stuff that naturally is much harder to get through hunting, through mining, because you have to be operating at a much higher level than new players can operate at. You have to have lots of skills, lots of equipment, lots of knowledge in the game, right? Even if you had the skills to go get pyrite out of lootable PvP zones, are you going to be able to get it out of the ground and get out of there before somebody shoots you and takes it? You have to have some serious playing skills to be able to naturally acquire this stuff. Now here's the thing though, it can make a good trading item even if you can't acquire it naturally. How so? You don't have to have a huge spread. Guys, if you could buy pyrite for 130, 135% all day long, you could sell it for 145 to 150% all day long. That would be a great item to be trading. In future videos, we'll get into some of the mechanics of the game, especially with the auction system, that make those spreads lower, so it does make it harder to trade. But this is the kind of stuff you want to trade. My category 3 trading item is stuff with good markup, good demand, that not necessarily everybody has. It's something you can get, something that you can get naturally from hunting and mining, but something that not everybody has. Give you guys an example over here in some hunting loot, one of my favorites, and you guys will start to see why the markups are so high. Output amplifier components. These drop a lot during Mayhem. They do drop from some other mobs outside of Mayhem. You'll notice I've only got 73 PED TT, 196% to 215% markup. And guys, 196% is low. I'm about to go check the auction as soon as this video is over, because if they're really 196% at the moment, I'm going to go snatch them up. These things very, very rarely go below 200, 210% markup. You'll notice again, not the heaviest of demand, but that's because there's literally not enough of them for those demand numbers to be higher. 1,000 PED today, 13,000 this week, 69,000 PED sold on auction this month. Those are really, really good demand numbers for an item that you can naturally get, but not just anybody can go get it, right? So one of the reasons these items are so important is, guess what you need in order to make damage enhancers. If you want to go to a crafting terminal and you want to make damage enhancers for your weapons, like these, and these are what you need if you're going to run Mayhem. You have to have all those damage enhancers running on a tier 10 weapon. So you got to have tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, etc. damage enhancers. If you want to make these bad boys, guess what you need? That's right, you need pyrite and you need output amplifiers. So now are you seeing where this kind of starts coming together? If I want to go to a crafting machine and I want to craft those output amplifiers, damage enhancers, I'm just going to search through my blueprints real quick. If I want to make my damage enhancer 1, what do I need? I need an empty enhancer component. That's in red on my needed items. I can grab that from the trade terminal. They're a PED a piece. I need Nova fragments, output amplifiers, and pyrite. So now are you guys seeing this? I also need a second one component. The output amplifiers that have that 200 or better markup percentage, that's because they're needed for these damage enhancers. They have a functional use. The pyrite that's got that 150% markup that's hard to mine, why is it in demand? Because it's used to make damage enhancers. So it's actually got a useful function. People can take those items, and you might be buying and selling them as a trader just to make a spread, but the end user, the crafter that's buying them, can take them from you, put them into the crafting machine, and they can make damage enhancers. Now here's the question, guys. If you're a trader and you're getting pyrite and output amplifiers at a good price, do you have the ability to take them with the skills that you have, and do you have the ability to take those raw materials you're buying, hopefully at a discount, and put them into a crafting machine and have them spit out these damage enhancers? Could you guys do that? Because guess what? The markup on damage enhancers is 350%, and that's for damage enhancer 1s. And look at the demand there. Yes, it's much less demand, but we're also not in the middle of a competition at the moment. If you'll notice, there's been 11,000 PED worth sell this month. We just got done with the Mayhem, guys. Everybody that competes in Mayhem has to have damage enhancers. So whenever you're dealing with category 3, the items you really want to be trading, the stuff that you can get naturally, it's got good high markup, it's got really solid demand, it's just hard to get naturally because of the skills and equipment and knowledge of the game that you have to get it. The question then becomes, if you're trading in this, are you trading in the item itself? Are you just buying and selling output amplifier components or pyrite? Or are you taking those components and do you have the skills to be able to craft them into something better? The great thing is, if you're operating mainly in category 3, these high markup, high demand items that aren't necessarily the easiest in the world to get, you're also going to be thinking about that. What can I turn this stuff into, right? So give you guys an example of something I did just the other day. I had showed you guys I have a ton of muscle oil. I've got a ton of eye oil. I've got 1,248 PED of eye oil. I've got 528 PED worth of muscle oil, right? So muscle oil and eye oil have crap markup, like we just saw, 101, 102, 103%, maybe 104 if you're lucky and paying some auction fees, right? Well, I don't just want to sell this stuff to the trade terminal, and I don't want to spend all day trying to get rid of it at those crap markups. So what I did is, last week, when I had even more, I went to a crafting machine and I made simple 1 conductors. I did 1,000 clicks of simple 1 conductors, because all you need to make simple 1 conductors is eye oil and muscle oil. It's the only 2 ingredients. I think it's 2 eye oil and 20 muscle oil per click, right? Now, why would I do that? Well, first of all, let's check out the chart. You'll notice there's still steady demand. It's a lot less than the raw materials. 3,000 PED today, 22,000 PED this week, 114,000 PED this month. But look at those markups, guys. 108 to 112% pretty regularly. Simple one conductors, generally speaking, should sell for right at about 110% in today's market. So the reason I'm making these is twofold. A, I can take that muscle oil and that animal oil that I cannot get good markup for, and I can pretty easily, with a crafting machine, turn them into these simple one conductors because I have the skills to do that. And now I've got something that's sellable, that's got good demand with a higher markup, right? So now it's worth taking the time to sell. The other thing is simple one conductors can be turned into even more stuff. What can they be turned into? One of my favorites, and you'll kind of see the circle of life start to happen here. Let me see if I can find it in my inventory here. Here we go, the RK5 repair tool. This is the repair tool that you need to repair vehicles. This is the repair tool that you need if you're going to go repair a mothership and do a skill run, right? So what is one of the things that you need to craft these bad boys? Simple one conductors. So I take my muscle oil and my eye oil that have crap markup, I make them into simple one conductors. Now I've got something with good demand and good markup, much better than the oils themselves. And guess what, guys? If I can't sell it, I turn them into these RK5 repair tools. And then if I can't sell the RK5 repair tools, by the way, let's look. The RK5 has an even better markup, 127 to 140% markup. Yes, a lot less demand, but it's an item that has pretty steady demand. They pretty steadily sell for 9 to 10 PED per unit, depending on how you sell it, where you sell it, when you sell it. So even higher markup, so something that I know I can sell if I take my time, something I definitely know I can use. And guess what, guys? If I can't sell them, I just take them, I go on a skill run, I repair a mothership for a couple of days with them, and guess what? That gets me even more crafting skills so that I can turn around and take those raw items I'm trading and turn them into more final products, right? So if you're operating in category 3, for trading, items that have good markup, good demand, that they're just a little bit harder to get naturally, they require good skills, good knowledge of the game, a little bit more advanced player would have to naturally get them. Yes, you can work off spreads. You can do that, and you can buy and sell the raw materials. If you have the skills, you'll also figure out that you can take those raw materials, buy low, go do some crafting, turn them into stuff that is either a final product or simply has higher markup that could lead to a final product, right? Example, animal oil, eye oil. Crap markup, I take it, I make simple one conductors. Now I've got something with good demand, good markup. If I can't sell it, now I turn it into RK5s. If I can't sell those with an even better markup, I just go turn them right back into skills on a skill run. It just helps me out further down the road with my crafting, right? Now there is a fourth category. This is the category that ideally you really want to be in as a trader. It's just the hardest one to get into because it's going to require you to have a crap load of money to even get started. So if you don't have thousands and thousands of dollars invested in the game, you might as well just stay completely away from this category for a very long time. And I know that's going to probably be the majority of my viewers. And that is uber rare items. This is the category that's going to make you the most money trading, in my opinion. I've seen it make people literally thousands and thousands of dollars where they did it as a full-time job. But let me show you a good example here. My Armatrix BP20 FEN. There's only 15 of these weapons in game. This is an unlimited version of an Armatrix BP20, but it's the special FEN edition. The only way you could get this was during the FEN, the 15th Entropia New Year event. You had to have 500 platinum tokens. At one time, those tokens were trading for over 60 or 70 PED per token. You had to have 500 of them. Go to the token trader and you had to get this weapon directly from him. You could not loot it by itself. There was only 15 of them available. There were 3 available when I picked this one up. As soon as I picked this one up, another one was picked up right after, and then the last one went within 5 minutes of these 2. I am the first owner, the only owner of this weapon. The reason it is so highly desirable is it's got 83.2% efficiency. Now, is that the highest efficiency in the game? No, but it's definitely an uber efficiency item. Very few weapons have efficiencies that high. And the thing is, guys, you do not have to be super high level to use this weapon. I'm barely, I think, level 25, 26 BLP pistol and range BLP damage, and I could go out and start using it right now. I'm not quite maxed on it. I'm going to give it another day or two with my regular BP20 to get my skills up just a little bit, but super, super rare item, right? So if you check the markup on these, now obviously there's very little demand because they don't trade hands very often, but that demand is very, very deceiving. People want this weapon desperately. I have only seen one or two of them really trade hands. One of them I know went for about 10,000 PED. One went for 11,000 PED. That's why you kind of see it split the difference where it says markup 10,499, because there's only been two of them that I've ever seen trade hands on auction. Uh, why it's showing one, I really don't know, because it should be two. But I did see one on auction the other day. Somebody put up for sale for about 13,000 PED, and then after a couple hours, they immediately pulled it off because they realized they really didn't want to sell it. This weapon is only going to get more valuable over time because it's one of the very few high efficiency weapons that lower end players can use. So very, 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 very valuable weapon. If you guys have something like that, and you're able to pick it up at a deep discount from a player who's quitting or who maybe needs to pull some cash ped together, that way they can go make another purchase, that's where a lot of the money in the game is really made when it comes to trading. So let's hop on auction real quick. I'll show you what I mean. These uber items, when you're talking land areas, rare rings, stuff like that, that's where the real trading money comes in. The problem is you've got to have huge bankrolls. So like the Christmas ring, 2018, one of the best competition rings in the game, right? Everybody loves this ring. So if you look at the markup chart, you'll see, well, it looks like there's no demand. It looks like there's no markup. Not true at all. Everybody loves this ring. Most of them trade hands in private transactions, not on the auction. So you can't read these charts the exact same way you would most charts. Anytime you're dealing with an uber rare item, you have to be very, very careful because the prices are going to be misleading. The charts are going to be misleading. There's no handbook to it. You have to know the market and know these items like the back of your hand. 30,000 PED for that ring, would I pay that? Absolutely not. Would I pay 18 to 20,000 PED? In a freaking heartbeat, because I know the market, right? So if I could buy that ring for 18,000 PED, I guarantee you I could sell it in less than a day and make several thousands of PED in profit. The Easter ring 19, the one that just dropped, only a few of these seem to drop during Mayhem, which was kind of weird. Personally, I see some value here. Are there better rings? Yes. Do I think it's necessarily worth 28,000 PED? No. I think 15,000 PED is the closer to accurate market value. There's been very few of these trade. I have not personally heard reports of any prices anybody's paid, but again, something you could definitely make money on if you could pick it up at the right price. Halloween ring 16, 13,000 PED. Again, guys, these are uber items, right? Let's look at something on down here, not tools. Okay, tools is a good one. There's actually a mod fap on auction. Doesn't look like a lot, but if you look at the price, guys, 100,000 PED for that fap. Some people will tell you this FAP is worth 150,000 PED. Do I believe that? No, it was at one time. Do I believe it's still worth that? No, otherwise it wouldn't have sat on auction for 5 days. A trader would have scooped it up if there was 50,000 PED on the table. I believe it's worth somewhere between probably 50,000 and 100,000 PED. Is it closer to 100,000 PED at the moment? Probably. But I don't believe it's a 100,000 PED item anymore just because there's other FAPs that have come along. There's other stuff that's out there now. But again, an uber item, if you could get it at the right price, whoa. Let's look at one more that's on auction that I know of. Starfinder, an actual spaceship with warp capabilities. Again, doesn't look like much, just the spacecraft deed, right? But 50,000 PED for a spaceship capable of warp. 50,000 PED for a spaceship capable of warp. That's pretty impressive. That's a lot of PED for a spaceship, especially when you can get a quad wing interceptor for roughly, 185, 200 PED. 200 PED would actually probably be a little bit much. So, quad wing interceptor, 200 PED, not warp capable. Starfinder, 50,000 PED, totally warp capable. Is it worth 50,000 PED just because it's warp capable? Absolutely not. You got to look at the structural integrity, which ship it is, what all it comes with. But once you can really start dealing in high-end uber items, if you've got the bankroll to do it, it's a whole different type of trading. Most people will never get there. First of all, your bankroll's got to be absolutely huge. Second of all, you've got to know how to price the items. You've really got to stay up on the market. You've really, really, really got to know your stuff. You don't want to spend too much money. You've also got to know how to find the deals. You don't want to take advantage of people, but you got to know which opportunities to look for. So, category four of my kind of trading categories is Uber items that most people will never end up getting to specialized trading in. If you will stay in category three, if you will stay in that area for trading where you're looking for items like pyrite, right? Uh, if you're looking for quantium ingots, if you're looking for output amplifier components, if you know the spreads that you can get and the spreads that you can sell for, if you know the stuff that you can turn low markup stuff like eye oil and muscle into like simple one conductors and get a higher markup item that's still in demand, and know that you can, if you can't sell that, you can turn around and turn it into something else with even higher markup like an RK5 that's going to be in demand, and if you can't sell it, you can always recycle it into more skills. If you guys will learn to hang out in that area and learn which items you really should be trading in and just laser focus in on a couple of items, and also keep in mind, always in the back of your mind, which items am I trading in that I can turn into other items that I can either use myself or resell for even better markup. If you will laser focus in on that category three trading, then you can have a very, very profitable trading career. The stuff that just has no demand and no markup, it's TT food. Get rid of it, guys. If it's got low demand, you're just, if there's good demand but there's low markup like animal oil, muscle oil, you're going to kill yourself trying to make a trading career out of that. If you can laser focus in on that category three, good markup, good demand, hard to get naturally without a lot of skills, a lot of knowledge of the game, you don't even have to be the one to go get it. You can actually buy at one price, sell at another, make a good profit. And if it's always in the back of your mind, how can I turn it into something even better with more markup that's still in demand, or with more markup that's got demand that I can use if I can't sell it? You guys will have a very, very good trading career. Over at earnped.com over the next week, I'm actually going to be adding some features where earnped.com members will be able to find out exactly which items I personally want to buy for my own crafting runs for my own personal use. So there will be a page where only earnped.com members can go if they want to try and sell me stuff. But guys, when it comes to the actual trading, most of the trading that I do in game is like literally 3 or 4 different items. I usually am not focusing on more than 4 to 5 items at any given time whenever I'm actively trading. I don't have this huge, huge, huge buy list. You see some people try and buy everything in the game. It just doesn't work. You end up with a storage full of stuff. Everything's got a different markup. You're never sure what you're going to be able to sell to who. It's a mess. If you will notice, I only focus on really 3 to 4 items at any one time, maybe 5 items if I'm actively trading them. The stuff that I put on earnped.com, that's a little bit different. That's going to be stuff that I actively need for me to use in game, or resources that I'm needing to get so that I can do a crafting run on a stream. And I would rather that money go to earnped.com members than just random person that I don't know from Adam, right? So, guys, this has kind of been part one of the earnped.com series on trading. This is just kind of the introduction to trading and the 4 different categories that I have for putting items into whenever I determine tradability. There's the TT food category, the stuff that'll work you to death. Category 3 that you want to laser focus in on is that stuff that will actually give you a good trading career, make you money, and give you some options to mess with markups and turning stuff into other stuff. And then category 4, the one everybody dreams of, uber rare, uber expensive items that you need a huge, huge, huge bankroll and vast knowledge of the game in order to be able to trade in, that a lot of people will just never get to. So those are the big takeaways that I want you guys to get from this video today. This is only part one. I've got many, many more videos. We've got to go more into demand, more into supply, more into crafting, more into skills, more into the auction, more into some of the limiting mechanisms that make spreads kind of small on certain items. We'll get to all that, guys. But from earnped.com, I've been Stevie B. I hope this little introduction to trading has been very, very helpful for you guys. I hope you understand a little bit better what you want to trade, what you want to stay away from trading, and I hope it's going to help you guys have a trading career that will actually last instead of giving you guys burnout. So as always, guys, be sure and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Feel free to leave me comments. Let me know about some of the best trades you guys have ever made. I always love hearing y'all's success stories. Be sure and hop over to earnped.com, earnped.com. Join us over there as a member, complete some offers, earn you guys some PED, check out the all-time high blog, and don't forget guys, I am streaming almost nightly from 7 to 9. I'm doing it mainly to be able to answer y'all's questions and help you learn while you earn, right? That's the point of the stream, that's the point of the all-time high blog. I want you to learn while you earn, because not only do I want you to earn PED with earnped.com, I want you to know how to use that PED wisely, use it to have a good trading career, make that PED go further. That's the whole point of the game, guys. So from earnped.com, I am Stevie B. I appreciate you guys being here for part one. If you have any questions,